So, we visited the Toyo Ito building in Taipei. And now, nandito tayo sa Taichung to visit another Toyo Ito masterpiece. And this is the National Taichung Theater. Look at that, guys. A monstrosity within the park. Obviously, this is a very high-end neighborhood. And then you have a cultural center right smack in the middle, probably raising the land value of the real estate of the surrounding area furthermore. You have the drop-off area, and that's where the bus stops are. So wherever you are in Taichung, if you want to come here, the bus stops right in front of the building. So you can see this is a flat wall, flat, flat, and then you have those negative spaces in between. So there are three here, and then this one is like a cave-like type of a negative space, punctuated by a fountain. I went around earlier, and this is the only thing that is open, and the rest are covered with glazing. And then the flat parts have I'm not sure what they are yet. Maybe we can go up close to see what they are. I'm very excited to see this building because I've been planning to come here, but Taichung is not in Taipei, so there's no flight direct from Manila. So now that I planned my trip to Taiwan, this is definitely one of those destinations that I targeted. So I thought this was a frosted glass. Maybe we can find out later inside if this is actually an opening, but based on how it looks like, it's like frosted glass, and then there's some silicone here, and maybe it's some sort of a window, and then you can see some of the circles being repeated on the glass, the glazing, like a sticker. Beautiful building, and you can see the language of the architecture repeated on the grass. So let's walk around first and appreciate the exterior. So it's an in thing now to have concrete finishes, and I wonder why this was not a concrete finish, or a what do you call that? Forgot the name, like grayscale. Anyway, if I remember it, I'll mention it again later. But look at this portion, look at this section. Parang may naligaw ditong portion of the theater, and it's like an installation. So it's like a breadcrumb of this big architecture. I wonder what this is. I'm curious, and if you're allowed to go inside, because may imagine ko there's a space inside, and it has that billowing. Oh wait, this is the explanation. Walang English. So basically, this is, oh, now I know what this is. So before we go inside, before we go around, and you can see the circular fenestration and how the building was constructed. Brilliant. So this is an impressive installation because we are already educated kung paano siya ginawa. So this is the mesh that holds the concrete, and what I read is that the shell was prefabricated and then brought to the site, and then they put another mesh, and then they sprayed the concrete or shotcrete, and that will create the smooth surface. It's unfortunate that this is not in English, but this is the concept drawing sketches of Toyo Ito. Hindi ako sure kung siya talaga nag-drawing nito, but you can see that this is the ground area, and you see those punches of holes, cave-like formations, etc. So this is the middle part, the main theater that probably sits 2,000 plus people. And this is impressive. I thought it was just some sort of a waiting shed, but it actually explains how a portion of how this is constructed. You have the signage, the steel in its raw state, and then the piping, etc. Wow. So if you're going to go brutalist all the way, maybe it's the reason why they just painted it gray. This is the way to go. This is how it's going to look like. A more hard-wearing condition. And you can see the organic, curvilinear, cave-like form. So this is the wire mesh again. And I know for a fact that the concrete at the bottom part is 200 mm thick. So it's very thick. No, 300 mm thick, and then as you go up, the upper parts becomes thinner, about 200. So we continue our walk going around the NTT, let's just call it NTT. Baka kasi mabulol ako. So just like the Toyo Ito library in Taipei, he defined the edges as a rectilinear form that limits the program around it. And then created sections, created openings that cuts out through the volume. But that wasn't the case. I have other charrettes in my own studio wherein I do the same thing, but that's how I would approach it. But the process behind this building is very different. That is a coffee shop and probably another entrance. So going back to what I was saying, normally that's my process, but in this case, try to imagine this building as a three-dimensional grid that is orthogonal, and then Toyo Ito tried to organically rearrange the grid so that that will define the curvilinear form. So probably these are the grids like that, and then organically he just created those billowing forms, those cave-like forms, so that it can mimic the coral. So for him, it creates an experience that is very unique, that you cannot experience when you are in a modernist building, because when you go inside, you will realize that it's almost cave-like, almost natural, almost. So you have an outdoor performance venue, like an amphitheater. So probably that's the stage, and people can sit here. So if there's a performance inside, this can be another performance happening at the ground level outside with the high-end buildings. High-end buildings because they are gated. They don't really have retail F&Bs at the ground, and it feels very exclusive. That is why it's good that they have coffee shops at the ground level of the NTT building. Beautiful amphitheater, very picturesque, photogenic against the skyline of Taichung. I don't know if this is a Taichung center. And what I was saying, Toyo Ito doesn't mind that he has some appendages that doesn't belong to the design, but it has to be there because probably regulation requirement or for practical reasons. But I'll be so annoyed when I have something like that. So again, this is another section or another area of the building. So I'm not sure if I can step here because this is obviously the drop-off point. And then you have this billowing form. This is a section, a cutout section. So try to imagine without the glazing, you can see the section and the billowing profile of the building. And then again, the plant box echoing the billowing form. And this is the backside of the common area. So imagine the ground floor as a piazza, which is a common idea, which is a common concept among modernist architects to make the building democratic and open so that the city dwellers can enjoy it better. So it only makes sense that you put the coffee shops at the ground level. So this is where I had coffee this morning when it was still closed. I guess this is open earlier because the theater opens at 11:30 or at noon, at least for today. So VVG Theater, the coffee shop that I was in, it's minimalist, just basically occupying the underbelly of the ground floor of the NTT building. I can actually enter through this cafe to access the entire building. And then I wonder why this side has the water feature and the other side doesn't have, because it already has the amphitheater. Basically, I already answered my question. So that sort of balances it out. Green areas, a bit dry, and then this one is a bit, it has a water feature that goes all the way inside. In fact, you can see, like I said, this is probably granite, and this is the water feature, and then you have some color pebbles in blue, and then this is probably the snout for the fountain, and ito yung ilaw. Okay, I wonder how they maintain this, but you can see it goes all the way inside. And it's interesting that they don't continue the water from the inside to the outside, and they just make sure that the water is running inside, maybe for maintenance, for reasons, and enjoy a nice walk around the building. So I'm not sure if you can see the facade from this side because this is against the light. And again, there's that annoying eyesore. Sorry guys, as an architect, you are a bit OC with these things. And you can see the bazaar. So like I said, I'm not sure if Toyo Ito mentioned that he wants the ground level as a piazza. Just like, what modern architects always like to propose. But somehow it does its function because it has a mini market, high-end, we can say, mostly artsy design stuff, and then you have the cafe. Those are the usual things that you can find in a cultural area, whether it's a museum or it's a theater. And obviously it's a very photogenic place because of its unique architecture, very iconic. So yeah, skim coat, now I remember, it's called skim coat. So I wonder if this will look better if it's skim coat, or maybe they didn't do it that way to set it apart from the prototype at the corner of the street. So the water feature goes all the way here, and then you have another here, and then the profile is an accent on this side of the building. So it's supposed to be a fountain, I reckon. Pero pinatay nila maybe for energy reasons. There was a fountain here earlier. So I wonder what the climate is in Taiwan, or Taichung particularly, during summer. But this is definitely a bit warm already. But earlier it was cooler. Hello. I'm sorry. I don't speak Mandarin. Alright, okay. Okay. So hopefully I'm allowed to film. Okay. Is it okay if I blog for my class? I'm an architect. I'm an architecture professor.
For
for school.
OK OK，
Yeah.
非常 OK。
For Seiko.
可以。
Thank you so much.
在学校
Thank
用
you.
的。
Thank you.
因
Thank
为我想他是因为自拍，他一直没讲到，因为他在录影。
Architect. Thank you. Thank you. Ooh, I was so nervous. So you can see this is the entrance. And before you enter, if you have stuff, you can deposit your belongings in the locker area. I did it earlier. So very strong organic architecture all throughout, and then you have just very discrete elements, like very discrete entrances integrated with the architecture. So that is a bit distracting actually, but I guess we can get away. Oh no, I think it's okay now that I'm looking at the entire thing, but definitely the OC in me, I'm a purist. I'm a bit bothered by this staircase, also this one. And then when you're looking at the steel support, it's bothersome to me a bit. Maybe not for everyone, but me as a designer, when I'm looking at it, like it's supposed to be cave, like then all of a sudden you have these appendages that it feels doesn't belong there. But again, the architect is so strong, this won't matter at all. So you have the locker area and then the water feature coming from the outside. Again, divided. I don't know what P means. So you have the ATM and then you have really nice painted glass doors to conceal the not so pleasing facade of the locker area. This was my locker. So you just have to push it so that you can close it, and now it's minimalist again. There you go. So let's try the other panels. So it's the same thing. And so let's look at the directory. You have the info, the corner salon, the gift shop, specialty store, theater cafe, shop. I don't know what shop, eatery. And I guess basement is just the Taichung office and probably rehearsal room. And you can see the profile of this is granite based on the thickness. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, so since this is the office, we won't access that anymore. A nice exposed elevator. And I was saying that you have a predominantly all white organic architecture, and then some pillars or some walls will be accentuated by a different color. This one is red and this one is blue. So let's look at the directory. So this is the toilet. The block box is going that way. It has this is the emergency staircase. Right now I'm here. This is a staircase, and this is the access to the Grand Theater. And this is the main area. That's the access to the Grand Theater. That's the main area with some nice informal seating. Again, echoing the architecture. And then this is the VVG Village. It's really intended as an informal market. You can buy specialty goods, artsy, designer stuff. So there's a corner salon, cafe, another cafe somewhere here. This is the shop eatery. Enchanted Atrium. Why did they call it Enchanted Atrium? So this is the playhouse, black box. So most of the theater are in this area. So customer service, back office. So let's go to the There's a elevator. Going to, they have a restaurant bar at the 5th floor. It's called Image 3. And then they have another restaurant, which we are going to check out later. So they have the Sky Garden, Cafe Crochet, Tutu Gallery. I wonder if they have a bookstore. I already saw the gift shop earlier. So this is how you access it. This is also where you go to the Grand, another entrance to the Grand Theater and to the Playhouse. Right now we're just exploring the ground area of the building. So the black box, the Playhouse. Again, the reason why they have a lot of open spaces is because these are receiving area for the theater space. So like I said, a program needs hierarchy. So you cannot just have an entrance and then you don't allow people to hang out or at least meet in that lobby, in the lobby of that event space. So we'll try to access the actual theater, but I doubt if we can. So let's just go around first. And this is a family reading hub. Maybe let's go one round first to give us a better orientation of the building before creating another itinerary. So again, if you have a very strong architecture, these things won't matter anymore. So I'm sure this was an extension. This is not part of the architecture, and then, you know, it doesn't really sticks out too much. And I love this concrete finish. It's not really a different color. Very architectural space. This is the cave-like experience that Toyo Ito was mentioning. Kuwebang kuweba. So kulang na lang. I mean, I would imagine if you have birds. I think this is the one of the wow space that Toyo Ito was talking about. Like when you are looking at the sky. Oh no, this is not the sky, but just some lighting fixture. It would have been impressive if this is actually a skylight. So this is the main area or the main lobby of the Grand Theater. So the openness and the piazza-like feel, again, a common concept amongst modernist architects. I also felt this at the Lego house. And you have several entrances from all sides. And I'm happy to see that all of them are actually accessible. I saw a security guard here. This one doesn't have one, but you can freely enter. This is the bazaar. Again, it's defined. You don't need a wall to define that space. Just the water feature is enough. And at the moment you enter here with this narrow space, you are now in the VVG Theater Cafe. And at the corner of the city. So if this is the section, if you imagine that this is the section that goes all the way up the curvilinear surface, and this is the opening. So you have this corner view. So emergency staircase, this is my issue. Like the moment you get out, what if this is still on fire? How do you get out? Do you just assume that doors can be opened, or you just break the glass? So to finish the cycle of our walk, it's another toilet area. We go through the bazaar. Things that you won't find in a regular shop, because I find it a bit artsy and highly conceptual. I'm tempted to get this. But if you are into this stuff, I'm sure you will love coming here. And these are things that serve as souvenirs for me, more than the cheesy souvenirs you find in a touristic areas of a place. I go to museums and find unique stuff. And when you have souvenirs from the museum itself, from the structure itself, that already is a good remembrance of the place. And this is the architectural model. I was tempted to get it. And I would assume that this is the main structure of the entire building. And these are all prefabricated. What I read is that there are 58 curved units transferred to this place, to this site, and then they splattered it with concrete or shot concrete to make it smooth. So this is a model of it. So from afar, it really looks like a coral formation. So this is the gift shop for the theater. And then there are other items on sale, on display in this area. Very interesting items. And we go this way. And I want to check out the informal seating area. Not this one. We see this. This is a very common design. But this one, it's made of stainless steel with some negative pocket spaces. I wonder what they are for. Are you supposed to put candies? Or are you supposed to put your bags or whatever? So it works in an interior condition because there's no rain, so it won't accumulate water. So let's go to, this is the information or customer service with some steel perforations again, instead of those regular circular perforations, they have the amoeba-like organic forms. Oh, it's not steel. Oh, it's steel, very thick. So this is the toilet area, and then you can see another coffee shop over there. And then going back to the main space, the Grand Theater lobby, and then when we turn right, let's try to go upstairs already. First off, let's go to Playhouse. Okay, so basically you have the organic wall that goes to the ceiling, and then there's a separate plane for the lighting. And then the architect defined it with the cove lighting around it so that it's floating from the ceiling. So another vein of the building, because the architect imagined it like, from the main theater, it spreads out like veins. So this is the reading area. So I try to be quiet first, just see what the space is like. So when you have a public building like this, the access should be bigger than usual, not the hallway type. So we are already at the basement or the underground. Okay. So there's nothing here. Basically just for kids. So let's go up. Okay. So we are at the open area, the receiving area of the Playhouse. And it's interesting that they have a travertine flooring, but with the carpet on top. Now we are overlooking a bar or a restaurant with a nice pebble area, but it's not usable. So I was correct. The bubbles are like, lighting insulation. Maybe nag-aalud to sa milk tea, bubble milk tea. It's like acrylic. Interesting, very traditional railing. And very old style carpet. But with a strong architecture like this, okay lang yun. You know, this opened in 2016, but for some reason, it has that old vibe. I don't know if it's the weathering, okay, nice seating, cushion, or maybe it's been well used. Maybe that's the reason. So this is the flat part. So instead of putting glazing, this is one of those planes that are solid, and then they just put pearly openings. It's kind of dramatic actually when I'm viewing it from the camera. So the second levels are actually the common area of the different theaters. So I guess this is the reception with some laser cut panels. And I don't know where this leads to, but definitely this is just a hangout area with a nice view of the park. So that is the prototype, a park high-end district, and another receiving area, the second floor receiving area. So basically, Toyo Ito doubled the receiving areas of this theater. But again, it feels like you're in a cave. Beautiful. Wow. Wow. I'm impressed. Now that I'm here, I'm beginning to understand, fully appreciate the concept, because it's three-dimensional all throughout. Look at that. But I read somewhere that Toyo Ito wanted to, aside from the light, you also hear water, etc. I think that is only applicable sa ground floor na may water feature, etc. So this is the staircase from the main, I think. And then it's okay to have like an element that feels like it doesn't belong there, but it's encased in glass anyway. So this is concrete. Is it? No. It feels hard, but it's actually curtain. It's interesting how it follows the shape of the curved walls. I reckon this is at the main theater, and with this receiving area, like a grand gesture, this is definitely the grand theater. There's only one way to find out. Again, those milk tea pearls, and a very traditional flooring. Really impressive building so far. And I also heard that it was very hard to find the right contractor for this building, because nobody was interested, because it was very challenging to build. Same case with my projects in the Philippines. Not as big as this, of course, but it's always a challenge when it comes to designs that are not usual. So this is the main theater. So let's explore further. But I can imagine the challenges. I can imagine the costing. Like, if you're the contractor, it will be a nightmare to have financial losses because you bid so low, the building cost so much, because there's so many unpredictable items in construction, or unpredictable. Wait, this is the toilet. It ramps down, interestingly, with a nice steel profile Nice lighting so that people won't step on this, because this is definitely concrete. Probably this is the 200 thick walls already. So the toilet, of course, just the same idea, but I love how it interacts with the wall. It's part of the architecture. I wonder why there's a divider. Okay. And I also wonder if the red carpet is a standard amongst theater. I haven't designed a theater, so I wouldn't know. But like I said, this reminds me of an old feel, because the theaters that I visited are already old and they have the same carpet. So probably that's the elevator going to the rooftop. We should try to visit later, but I'm curious what is behind this curvilinear volume. The engineer who worked on this project is Arup. It's a known engineering firm that accept projects that are very challenging, done by star architects or architects who like to experiment with their projects and their building. So we are going to the spiral staircase. Probably this is going to the rooftop. So this is the appendage that I was a bit bothered at the ground floor, because it feels like it's not part of the cave-like formation. Okay. Then all of a sudden you have a spiral staircase like that. And I would imagine if this is the curvilinear wall, it is cantilevered outward. So this is definitely an exercise, but it gives you a nice view, except that right now there's a advertisement of the event happening here. So my battery went off, but this is another view of the spiral staircase viewing the entrance, and this is a viewing deck. Medyo sure ako. And then this is not the entire Taichung, but part of it. And this is a public space. I don't know what level we are on already, but definitely another space that you will discover once you go around the entire building. It's a pleasant surprise for me, and I think I read bookstore somewhere, and I'm happy to see a bookstore. And I wonder if they have design books. And this is another gallery called Tutu Gallery. It's just closed right now. Actually, ito dilemma ko with an Asian country with nice books. I cannot understand Mandarin nor Japanese. But when you see the collection, it's very interesting that you are tempted to buy. So, BBG Play, food play. So it's another restaurant. So maybe later we can check this out. Very interesting choice of furniture. Anyway, it stands out against the very strong architecture of the NTT. So again, when you have very organic architecture like this, you have you deal with the left out spaces. So this is the Tutu Gallery, and then the toilet, and then very interesting floor plan of the restaurant. And this one goes to the 6th floor. So maybe I was bothered by this, but it offers a nice view of the interiors, especially a view of the ground. But pag takot ka sa height, medyo I can feel that this is made of steel. And I was talking about the structural engineer Arup, and they actually consulted race car designers regarding the feasibility, the design, and the acoustics of this building, so that they can ensure that this building will work. So I guess this is the coffee shop at the rooftop. Wow, they have a really nice view here. Very quaint. You won't expect this space or this store in this on this level, but it's definitely a destination. Wow. I wonder if we can go out to the rooftop. Let's check it out. So of course you have installation-like seating areas, which I love. Very abstract, and I'm sure these are the technical, the mechanical stuff. So this is like an extension of the park that this building took out. So whilst this is still a building that you need to access, at least the rooftop somehow is an open space that everyone can enjoy with a nice view, except for this area, because the architecture, it needs to have a wall there. So I can imagine Teletubbies running, and of course to hide that mechanical stuff. So again, very distracting, but somehow it's okay because the architecture is just so strong. So a very fantasy-like space, and I wonder maybe at nighttime when the when the sun is not too harsh, a lot of people will hang out here, or kids will run around because it's maze-like. So we're on top of the coral formation. So I'm not sure if this is a permanent installation or just for Christmas. There's a sugar cane, so it's a temporary installation, including the balloons around the plant box. So that's the coffee shop, and then you have the garden-like setting. I would imagine this will be lighted at night. So let's take another walk on this side of the rooftop. I have mixed feelings about this rooftop because you can't really see the view unless you look up, because it's being blocked by these formations, which is okay. Again, I understand that architecturally I would do the same probably. So nice pebbled walk with some aggregates, and then transitions to a grass area. So I guess this is meant for kids running around a park, but more like running around a what do you call that? A back of the house. It feels like it's a back of the house. So that one is an eyesore. It feels isolated, but still looks nice. I mean, you need to have this. Then just mostly this. I'd rather have this. So the rabbit's actually coming out of the hole, literally. So going back to the cafe, and I'm going to have coffee first before we end this, or probably continue again. So it's called Cafe Croce. I don't know how to pronounce it, but this is the elevator area. This is the toilet area. Again, the frosted glass. So again, I really love the the frosted glass finish, and then this is for one person or two. So I actually exited on the other side. So let's enjoy the coffee. enjoy coffee first. That made me a bit tired. So, like I said, I like hanging out in coffee shops. So, I hope you wouldn't mind me hanging out here first. So, after the coffee shop, we're here at the bookstore again. So, after the coffee shop, we're here at the bookstore again. Some informal storage space. And this one is the balcony. This is the one that's not covered by glass curtain wall. And I wonder if you can go out. Oh, you can. Oh wow, so this is a viewing area. So you can see the cave-like opening that opens to a private residential building. There's another one there. And unfortunately, I think it's closed. The other side is closed, so there's another access going there. So this is how this opening transitions to the floor. It's interesting that the flooring is different from the other areas. Just showing you how we are going down, and there's like an opening on the curvilinear surface that goes to the lobby or the receiving area of the Grand Theater. We have some informal openings, and then elevator area, and again we're here at the Grand Space. So I just realized those dots or the circular windows, it's being echoed by those lighting. We came from upstairs, that's the coffee shop. There's the spiral staircase going there, and now we're here back at the lobby, and somehow we toured around the entire theater already. Well, not entirely, because we can't access the theater proper. And I just want to show you how it looks like from afar, especially from the view from the park, because it's meant to be appreciated from afar as well, because it's a city landmark. And people think that because of this building, Taichung became a cultural center for cultural activities in Taiwan, because before this building, Taichung, which means middle of Taiwan, didn't have an identifying brand or identifying character. And because of this building, now it became a destination for culture. So again, we are in this neighborhood. I don't know what that building is, but it looks interesting because it's colorful. So this is the fountain area, and that was the coffee shop that we were in, and that was the balcony. I wonder what the other balcony is about and where you can access it from. So we're crossing the park, the road rather, and I wonder what the name of this park is. So you have some sculpture, rock elements, artificial for sure, and I wonder how this building looks like from this location. Right now we are being blocked by the tree, and that is Antonio Chiteri design building, which from afar looks like as a good detailing. It's a famous Italian architect. which I highly admire as well. I actually included this in my plan to visit, but it's a private building, so it's harder to access compared to cultural buildings. But eventually I want to access residential buildings as well, because it's what most people relate to. For now, oh wow, it looks beautiful from afar because you can see the entirety of the building. So you can see the carved areas and the one that's open. So 1, 2, 3. So I guess there are 3 areas that are like cavernous sections. Beautiful. So I guess that's it, and I hope that you like my vlog here in Taichung and appreciate another Toyo Ito masterpiece.